People say that after the age of 40, strengthening your legs requires intense training, heavy exercises, or routines that end up overloading the knees. That's what most people believe. But there is something that almost no one talks about, and that can completely change the way you see your body. In Japan, many women are able to maintain strength, balance, and stability even as the years go by, and it's not because they spend hours at the gym or lift weights. The secret lies in simple, slow, mindful, and extremely effective movements. Movements that may seem easy at first glance, but that deeply work neglected muscles, the ones you don't even notice are getting weaker. This routine was not created to leave you exhausted. It is not meant to tire you out or push you to your limit. The goal here is much smarter: to activate muscles that have been dormant for years, protect your joints, and restore confidence with every step you take in your daily life. And the most interesting part is that you don't need a gym, you don't need sophisticated equipment, and most importantly, you don't need to strain your body. In just 5 minutes, if done correctly, you can already feel a real difference. It may seem like little, but when movement is done with awareness, the impact on the body is much greater than hours of poorly executed exercise. Before thinking that your legs are no longer the same, or that age is limiting your movements, it's worth paying attention to this. Because often, it's not a lack of strength, it's a lack of proper activation. In the next moments, you will understand how this Japanese routine works: simple, adaptable, and extremely powerful, which can be done at home, regardless of your age. Even if you are busy right now, just hearing this can already begin to change the way you see your own body. Over time, it is very common for many women to begin to notice a subtle change. Their legs no longer support the body with the same firmness as before. That sense of security while walking decreases, balance feels more unstable, and simple movements begin to require more effort. And this doesn't happen just because of fatigue or a lack of willingness to move. What is really behind this is something deeper: the gradual loss of essential movements that were once automatic. Squatting, balancing, maintaining a firm posture, walking with control, all of this is slowly lost, almost without you noticing. That is exactly why this Japanese method becomes so valuable. It is not based on impact, does not require excessive effort, and does not put your joints at risk. On the contrary, it works at the root of the problem. The goal is to restore natural movement patterns, strengthen the body through stability, and develop something that most people completely ignore: body awareness. Because when you relearn how to control your own body, even in simple movements, you not only gain strength, but also balance, confidence, and independence to move with assurance every day. And that is where the real transformation begins. Before demanding more from your legs, there is something essential that most people completely ignore: you need to teach them again how to support your own body. Over the years, it's not just strength that decreases, it's control, stability, and the ability to respond to everyday movements. And that is exactly what we are going to start rebuilding now. Before starting this Japanese routine, here's an important invitation: if you are looking for simple, effective, and safe ways to strengthen your legs, protect your joints, and maintain your mobility over the years, this type of content can make a big difference in your life. This is a space designed especially for those who want to take care of themselves today so they don't face limitations tomorrow. Because the truth is simple: the earlier you start, the better your results will be in the future. Now let's move on to the first exercise. The first movement is the mindful deep squat. But don't think of that quick squat, done carelessly just to check the box. Here, everything changes. The focus is not on quantity, but on the quality of the movement. Start standing, with your feet slightly wider than hip width apart. Let your toes point slightly outward in a natural way. Relax your shoulders, avoid tension in your upper body, and gently engage your core, as if you were preparing your center to support the movement. Now imagine that you are going to sit down on the floor, but in a slow, controlled, and mindful way. This detail makes all the difference. Begin the descent by moving your hips back, without rushing. Keep your heels firmly on the ground and your spine in a comfortable and stable position. Don't force a perfect posture, aim for a safe one. Here is a key point: there is no need to go as low as possible. The goal is not extreme depth, but control. Go down only as far as your body allows, without pain, discomfort, or unnecessary tension. When you reach the lowest point that feels comfortable for you, stay there for a few seconds. Breathe calmly. Feel your body weight being supported by the muscles of your thighs, your glutes, and your hip joints. This pause is where the body truly learns. After that, rise slowly by pushing the ground with your heels. Avoid any momentum. The movement should be continuous, smooth, and controlled from beginning to end. This exercise not only strengthens the legs and glutes, but also improves ankle and hip mobility, reduces stress on the knees, and restores a sense of stability that many people lose over time. If you feel difficulty at the beginning, there is absolutely no problem in using support. Holding onto a chair or a sturdy piece of furniture does not mean weakness, it means intelligence. It means you are respecting your body and progressing safely. And there is something even more interesting about this movement. Even before chairs existed, humans already used this type of squat in daily life to rest, work, or simply position themselves on the ground. In other words, this is not a modern exercise, it is a natural movement that the body was made to perform. Restoring this pattern is like giving your legs back an essential function that, over time, ended up being forgotten. Oh Geminides, now let's move on to the second exercise. The next movement is controlled single leg balance. And here you begin to work on something that goes far beyond strength, balance, coordination, and deep stability. Stand upright, but without stiffness. Your posture should be natural, with your spine aligned and your gaze directed forward. This detail helps the brain maintain balance. Now, slowly and mindfully, shift your body weight onto one leg. Feel the weight being distributed. Then gently lift the other foot off the ground. It doesn't need to go very high. What matters is not the height, but the control. At this moment, something powerful begins to happen. The ankle, knee, and hip of the supporting leg start working together to keep you stable. Small muscles, often forgotten, activate to prevent you from losing balance. Hold this position for a few seconds. Breathe calmly. Avoid tensing your shoulders and don't stiffen your neck. The more relaxed your body is, the better your balance response will be. If it feels difficult at first, use support without any problem. Lightly touching a wall or a chair is a smart way to train safely. Over time, as you gain confidence, try to maintain your balance without support. And pay attention to this, it's not just about standing still, it's about feeling your body working. These are small, almost imperceptible adjustments that make all the difference in your stability. This is how you begin to rebuild confidence in your movements, not with brute strength, but with control, awareness, and consistency. And this is just the beginning. This exercise has a fundamental role that many people underestimate. It strengthens the stabilizing muscles of the leg, improves proprioception, which is your body's ability to understand where it is in space, and teaches your body to respond better to small imbalances in everyday life. When you practice this movement regularly, something begins to change very clearly. Your walking becomes more stable, the risk of falls decreases, and you start to trust each step you take more. And this is essential, because there is one detail that almost no one notices. Every time you walk, climb a step, or change direction, your body is supported by just one leg. If this balance is not well trained, signs begin to appear that many people ignore: insecurity while walking, small stumbles, fear of falling, and that feeling that the body no longer responds as it used to. And that is exactly what this type of exercise begins to correct, in a simple yet extremely effective way. Now let's move on to the third exercise. Here we move into a very powerful type of stimulus, the isometric posture of internal strength. Stand with your feet slightly wider than hip width apart. From there, slowly bend your knees and begin lowering your body as if you were sitting in an invisible chair. This movement should be done with full control, without rushing and without impact. There is no need to go very low. The goal is not depth, but activation. Stop at a point where you feel your thigh and glute muscles working firmly, but without pain or discomfort. Throughout the entire movement, keep your spine aligned, your chest open, and your core slightly engaged. This posture helps distribute the effort better and protects your joints. Now comes the most important part, holding the position. Stay in this position for a few seconds, breathing calmly and in a controlled way. Gradually, you will feel a burning sensation in your legs. The muscles begin to burn, and your entire body activates to sustain that position. And here is something important you need to understand: this sensation is not a sign of danger. On the contrary, it is exactly the stimulus your body needs to become stronger again. The true strength of this exercise is not in the intensity, but in the time. It's not about using more force, it's about sustaining the effort with control. Start by holding the position for 15 to 20 seconds. Over time, as your body adapts, you can gradually increase this duration, always respecting your limits. This type of isometric work activates deep muscles, protects the knees, and improves stability in simple daily movements such as walking, getting up from a chair, or even standing for longer periods. With consistent practice, you begin to feel something very valuable: firmness in your legs, confidence in your movements, and a sense of control that many people believe they have lost with age. And perhaps the most interesting part is this is one of the most powerful exercises to strengthen your legs without impact, without wear and tear, and without sudden movements. Even if, from the outside, it looks like nothing is happening, internally there is a deep activation that stimulates muscles, tendons, and joints, helping to rejuvenate how the body functions. Now, before moving on to the next exercise, it's worth reflecting on something important. What has been making it most difficult for you to use your legs today? Do you feel weakness? Quick fatigue? Instability while walking? Thinking about this is already the first step toward change. And sharing this experience can also help other people notice signs that often go unnoticed. Now let's move on to the fourth exercise. This movement is simple, but extremely powerful: slow, mindful walking. Choose a quiet space. It can be inside your home, in a hallway, or anywhere you can move safely. The idea here is not to walk fast, it is to walk better. Start walking at a much slower pace than usual. So slow that each step becomes a conscious decision. As you take a step, pay attention to each phase of the movement. First, place your heel on the ground. Then feel your body weight moving through the middle of your foot. Finally, gently push off with your toes, completing the movement. Each step should be felt, controlled, and complete. Keep your gaze forward, your shoulders relaxed, and your spine upright. Avoid unnecessary tension. Now add breathing to the movement. For example, inhale for 2 steps and exhale for the next 2 steps. This simple adjustment helps calm the nervous system and further improves balance. It may seem like a light exercise, but it works several structures intensely at the same time: ankles, calves, knees, and hips. In addition, it improves something fundamental for your body: proprioception, the ability to know where each part of your body is, even without looking. By practicing this exercise for just 2 to 3 minutes a day, you begin to notice a clear change. Your walking becomes steadier, more stable, and lighter. It's as if your legs start responding again with more agility and confidence. Slow, mindful walking is not about speed or distance. It exists to restore intelligence to movement, reactivate neglected muscles, and teach your body to move more efficiently. Now let's move on to the fifth exercise. Mindful heel raises. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart. If necessary, lightly support yourself on a wall or a chair, only as a reference, not to bear your weight. From this position, slowly begin to raise your heels, shifting your body weight to the front of your feet. Continue lifting until you are on your tiptoes, with full control of the movement. During this upward motion, keep your body aligned, avoid leaning your torso forward or cheating the movement. The idea here is not to make it easier, but to activate correctly. When you reach the highest point, stay there for 1 or 2 seconds. This brief pause makes all the difference. It is at this moment that you truly feel your calves and ankles working, supporting your body weight. After that, begin to lower yourself slowly. And here is a detail that many people ignore: the descent is just as important as the ascent. It is precisely in this controlled return that you build real strength. Avoid simply letting your body drop. Every inch of the movement should be conscious. To start, do 2 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. Over time, you can increase both the number of repetitions and the time you stay in the highest position. When this exercise is practiced daily, it brings very clear benefits. It improves circulation, strengthens tendons, and makes your steps more secure, firm, and stable. It's as if your legs regain a solid foundation that seemed to have been lost over time. This movement is essential because it works a region that tends to weaken with aging, the lower part of the legs. And when this area loses strength, the impact shows directly in balance and walking stability. Even though it is a simple exercise, when done with attention and awareness, it activates deep muscles that many traditional routines completely ignore. Now let's move on to the sixth exercise. Assisted wall sit, isometric. Stand with your back against a wall, with your feet shoulder width apart and slightly positioned in front of your body. Place your entire spine against the wall, from your upper back to your lower back. From this position, begin to slowly slide down, as if you were sitting in an invisible chair. This movement should be controlled, without rushing and without impact. Lower yourself until you find a comfortable point. Ideally, your knees would form an angle close to 90 degrees, but this is not a strict rule. The most important thing here is to respect your body's limits. Keep your heels firmly on the ground, your core slightly engaged, and your breathing flowing naturally. Do not hold your breath. Breathing properly helps the body maintain stability. Now hold this position. Feel the muscles in your thighs, glutes, and deep leg muscles working to support your weight. Even without movement, there is intense activation happening inside your body. Start by holding this position for 15 to 20 seconds. Then rest and repeat the exercise 2 or 3 times. Over the days, you can gradually increase this time, reaching 40 or even 60 seconds, always respecting your pace. This exercise is extremely efficient because it strengthens the legs without generating impact on the joints. It improves muscular endurance and restores a sense of security that makes a difference in simple daily activities, such as getting up from a chair, climbing stairs, or standing for longer periods. Now, before finishing, there is something important you need to know. Even though this is a safe and highly effective routine, there are very common mistakes that can hinder your results or even cause unnecessary discomfort. And the most surprising part is that most people make these mistakes without realizing it. One of the main ones is rushing. Many people perform these movements as if they were just another daily task, something to get done quickly. But this goes completely against the purpose of this routine. These exercises work precisely because they are slow, mindful, and controlled. When you speed up, you lose deep muscle activation. And what should strengthen, protect, and even rejuvenate your body turns into an empty movement, with no real effect. And that's exactly when many people think it doesn't work, when in reality they are just doing it the wrong way. There is another very common and quite dangerous mistake that many people make without realizing it: losing proper posture during the exercises. During squats or isometric positions, it is very common to see people completely relaxing their core, rounding their spine, or letting their knees collapse inward. At first glance, it may seem like something minor, but this type of misalignment drastically reduces the effectiveness of the exercise and, even worse, puts extra stress on the very joints you are trying to protect. That's why there is one rule you should always remember: the quality of your posture is more important than the depth or the time you spend in the exercise. There is no point in going lower or staying longer if your body is not properly aligned. Another silent but very frequent mistake is holding your breath. Many people do this without even realizing it. They tense their body, hold their breath, and end up creating unnecessary effort. This makes fatigue come faster and prevents the movement from being performed smoothly. Your breathing should accompany the exercise: slow, continuous, and natural. Many people give up right when their body is starting to respond. The deepest benefits of this routine do not appear on the first day, or even in the first week. They emerge when the body begins to adapt, usually after a few weeks of consistent practice. Each of these movements, when done calmly and with awareness, sends a very clear message to your body: you are still capable. Capable of supporting your weight, balancing yourself, reacting, and moving with confidence. You don't need long workouts or extreme demands. You need consistency, attention, and respect for your own pace. If you start practicing this Japanese routine for just a few minutes a day, you will notice real changes. Your legs will begin to feel stronger, your steps more stable, and your body lighter. And the most interesting part is that this change does not happen abruptly. It appears gradually, until suddenly, you realize that you are walking better, getting up more easily, and feeling more confident in yourself. The truth is simple: your body has not given up on you. It was just waiting for the right stimulus. And now that you know this path, there is a next step that can take your results even further. In the next content, you will discover an exercise that many people completely ignore, but that can further enhance the strength and stability of your legs. It's worth continuing, because this may be exactly the missing piece to finally transform the way you move every day.